Hello, Nick. We
Hello,
are
Ting.
live.
We are live, alive at
Yay!
5 Eastern
Yeah.
Standard Time.
How are you?
I'm doing quite well. I had today off from work, so just relaxing. It's one of those, I would say, dark, dreary days here in New England and in Connecticut. But it's still a beautiful day in the neighborhood. So it's wonderful to be here. So happy to join you again. It's been a long time.
Yeah, it's amazing. I thought about no November's coming and October. In the end, I would look back to my photo on my computer, and I'll see lots of memories, and that's how you and I connected. The first time was in actually that was in May, and later on when we did canvassing for Andrew Yan as like November, right? November we did a
Right?
lot, right? November
Yes. Oh,
9th,
yes.
I think you and I really like for real met was November
Hmm.
9th. You came to Times Squares. So tell us a little bit about that trip. And I want to know one more time. I think although you told some of us already, like how did you like get into this whole spiel?
Wow.
The
I mean,
Yangan.
quite a ride. I mean, it feels like it feels like yesterday for me, though. It was February of 2019, late February 2019, and I was on Facebook or it was Instagram, and I saw an ad for Andrew Yang for president 2020. I was like, who am I going to support? For president of the United States, this race that's coming up, this primary season. And it is something that I've been, just uh, I just wanted to find out who I was going to support. And there's just so many candidates out there. You knew you had seasoned politicians and senators and congress people. And I was thinking about who am I going to support here? Because I definitely didn't want another 4 more years of Donald Trump. So I'm like, who am I going to go with here? And I had voted in 2016 for it was actually the Libertarian candidate because I was like, I don't want to vote for Hillary Clinton. I want to vote for Donald Trump. I need an alternative. And that's what I wanted. I need an alternative. And then I was so happy to hear about Andrew Yang and his interview on the Breakfast Club. That really caught my attention, and I watched that with my sister. I was just like, wow, he's just talking about the economy, he's talking about mental health. These things really resonate with me. He has his finger on the pulse of the country, and I'm like, I got to support him. That's it. So that's when I realized that he was my candidate for 2020. And then the roller coaster ride began. I had no idea it would end up in Iowa and New Hampshire, and I'd be knocking on doors and canvassing because I'm an introverted person, and I'd say that I am an introvert extrovert. So I'm selectively extroverted. Um,
I'm not sure. I'm not sure about that. In Times Square, you were shouting.
I was, I
What
was.
is
I
the
felt
most?
so
How does it?
encouraged.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
What did you say? This is no. You asked a question. What is a? Say it again. What is that? What is a
Show me
democracy?
what democracy looks like.
Yeah, this is what democracy looks like. Yeah. So
Yes,
that
yes.
was really that was a
But
great moment.
Times Square is so energetic. It's so frenetic. It's just like it brings it out in you. You can't really be shy in Times Square.
Yeah.
You just can't. And there's just so many people. It's just a big crowd and
Yeah.
just out there talking to whoever will listen, and say, hey, think about what you would do with $1,000 a month. Think about universal basic income. So we did the Yang Gang. We had creative ways of getting out there and putting the message out there, and it was, and we were very, I would say, just enthusiastic.
Right.
Even on November 9th, it wasn't a lot of people, but for what we lacked in numbers, we made up for in enthusiasm,
Right.
our in our action, in
Mm.
our boldness, in proclaiming this run for president, someone that's a
Yeah.
non-politician, but
Yeah.
has solutions and ideas that this country really needs and still needs, today. So,
So
wow.
the so we ended up going to Connecticut to canvas
Mhm,
in the snow day, and also eventually we went to Iowa and New Hampshire. Can you name like two or three really sort of a memorable moments? Like, I'm sure you have a lot, but can you
mhm,
name some really memorable moments during our volunteer work for the campaign?
mhm. Oh yes, absolutely. So Iowa City was a wonderful time, staying at the Graduate, and then heading out and canvassing in the surrounding areas, knocking on doors, rain or shine. The first week, I remember the weather was so nice; it didn't feel like winter. It was very comfortable going door to door, and I was like, "Oh wow, if this is what the weather's going to be
Can I
like in Iowa,
interrupt? Can I
yeah,
interrupt? When you say
yeah."
hotel, I thought about avocado toast. That was really good.
Oh, that was awesome
Yeah, we
breakfast.
can
Oh
eat
yeah.
breakfast for free, right?
Yes,
Before
we had these
whatever. Yeah.
vouchers. We had these Yang 2020 tickets, like these vouchers. I'm like, oh man, this is awesome. Let's just go. Let's do this. Loved Yang Week. Really enjoyed it. And yeah, being able to eat breakfast, make sure we got the food, the nutrients that we needed to knock on doors. That was perfect. What a perfect arrangement. It was like a UBI for food. It's like, we got a little taste of it, no pun intended.
Yeah,
But it was
yeah.
fantastic.
I want to say hello before you tell me two maybe another exciting moment. Then I'll tell you my exciting moment. I remember so many things because I made a film, right? I want to say hello to Mark. Hi, Sharkfin Tech. He is very supportive of my channel, and you probably know Nick. Mark always comes to this platform, and also Helga. Helga is from Netherlands. She's a
Ooh.
film scriptwriter. Hi, Helga. She has a question. How many doors did you visit?
Oh,
How
very
you?
good question.
Yeah,
I didn't
yeah.
keep track, so I don't know how many.
I
um,
know. I know.
you know, you know.
Average. Okay, yeah, we
Okay,
can even average. We knock on 70 doors per day.
70 doors per day.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah, yeah.
okay,
Sometimes more, sometimes less. Yeah,
yeah. You mentioned
yeah,
that in the film too.
yeah, yeah,
Now that you
yeah,
mention it, yeah, that does
yeah,
come to
yeah,
mind. Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
So, what is the other one more exciting thing? I'm sure you have many.
Yeah, I really liked, after a day of canvassing, several hours, we got together at a bar near the hotel. And I remember there was karaoke. I had a really good time, did a little duet, the song from Greece, Summer Lovin'.
Oh, no. That was we watching his eighth debate in New Hampshire.
Mm,
Remember,
mm.
right?
I
Yeah,
remember watching.
yeah,
Yep,
yeah,
I
yeah,
remember
yeah,
being
yeah,
there too.
yeah. And
So
then
that was
there's
another
like a
moment.
karaoke. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, but
Yeah.
and then there was a lot of conversation going on, amongst us, amongst the volunteers.
Right.
There on our own dime, on our own time. I remember
Yeah.
one of the
Yeah.
canvassing, let's say veterans or experts,
Right.
shared his elevator speech, right? His
Right.
spiel. Um,
Yeah.
we had conversations with people that were just there at the bar having a good time. I remember there was one guy in particular that was engaged in a conversation with one of the volunteers, and he was a Trump supporter. That by the end of the conversation, there was laughing, there was camaraderie. So it
Mm,
just goes to show that it's possible to be able to have conversations with people who think differently than you, when
right.
it comes to politics or when it comes to anything. We have to
Right.
be able to talk about things, be able to put things out there, and not be afraid, not be not be shy, and not let different forces say, if it's the media or the duopoly, as we talk about, um, to drive that division and that polarization.
Yeah.
Every person is different. Every individual is different. And then if you can just relate to them on a personal level, um, you know, then a lot of wonderful things can happen. So I remember seeing that at that bar near the hotel. There was also a night of hot pot. You took us out for hot pot.
Yeah, yeah, you cannot believe like in Iowa City. Iowa City is a city in Iowa. It's called Iowa City. It's pretty chic. Has a nice hotel we stay, and like so like a 40 young guys stay there, right? And so
Hmm.
we always have breakfast together. So it feels like a summer camp or winter camp. And
Yes.
then yeah, and then we found like so many like we ate pho, right? The Vietnamese
Hmm.
noodles near it, and then
Hmm.
eventually when Yan Week became Yan Month. Several young men, I would say maybe 10 or more, decided to stay more weeks, become month, and then yeah, I took us to eat hapa. Now, speaking of, I in my mind, I just so many great memories, and some I'll just say some did not make to the film just because otherwise the film will be 4 hours long. One moment, do you remember? Actually, I had a footage and I try to put in, then I put out, try to put in, try to put out. Is because it's a very very low light. Do you remember in Waterloo when we at the nighttime? There's no absolutely no life except there's a bar, and we went in there and
Yeah.
then we all had a chocolate martini,
Hmm. Excellent
right?
drinks there. That
Yeah,
was so good. I wish I could
yeah, yeah,
remember the name of the place, but I
yeah,
took a picture of it. I have it somewhere. But
yeah,
yeah, that was
yeah,
unexpected. And there was also finger food available too.
yeah.
So
And
we
then
went at the
yeah,
right time.
yeah, and then we you guys had a really good conversation with the waiter, and he
Mhm.
was talking about his point of view, yeah, and kind of more like a discussion, not that he's for Trump or he's for Yen or for Democrat, So it was a really
Mhm.
nice conversation. So that scene was not in. Part of the reason is so dark, and also the audio. Yeah, the audio wasn't great. And let's see what else is yeah, the karaoke was not in,
No,
and but I really like the energy. We were outside of the 8th debate in New Hampshire in a college, and there was
that's right.
a very very cold, it's raining, and we with many other campaigns, right, many
Right.
other candidate, and we shouting outside, we were like crazy. Yeah, do you remember? And
Absolutely.
you were holding a sign, and the sign was about to blow away, and we have to chase the sign. Remember? Yeah,
I remember that
yeah,
happened outside of St. Anselm in
yeah,
New
yeah,
Hampshire. That happened with
yeah,
the sign. I was holding it. It just got so windy. We were braving
yeah.
the elements. I remember
Right.
one of the volunteers yelling, "Hold the line!" Like it was like I felt
Yeah,
like we were, an army out there, just like
yeah, yeah,
campaigning and showing out, for Andrew Yang and universal basic income, the freedom dividend. We were chanting it. I know I lost my voice. I know I did.
yeah,
I wasn't the only
yeah,
one. I was just
yeah,
shouting and just
yeah.
so exuberant, and it was
Uh-huh.
quite the experience.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
let's see. Let's just see a couple of I piled up a, what do you call, uh unstoppable, oh, I piled up a list of like not in, not made a cut to the film. Okay. And
Okay.
let's see which one. Actually there's a lot. Let's see. Okay. So this one actually is a fundraising, and
I remember this event.
yeah, and
Yes.
then there was like a what do you call, rap by some
And
famous
it,
rapper. Can you see
yeah,
it now? Okay. All right, I'll
yeah,
play a
I
little
can
bit.
see it.
Okay.
Yeah. That was MC Jin. There was a rapper, MC Jin.
Put your hands up. Put your hands up high. If you love Andrew Yang, let me hear alright. Let me hear alright. Alright. One more time. Say return of the man. Let me hear it. Oh yes, I said I love math. Don't let it not last. And if you don't like Andrew, you can kiss my mask. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you want to watch this is called Unstoppable Moment. I every event I went, I make a short video. So this one actually is not that short. This is a fundraising for Andrew in Manhattan, right? In a
Yes.
club, and it's a 29 minutes. Some video. Let's see. Oh, this is very funny. Oh, watch this. Okay, this is very funny.
All
So
right.
I asked okay, I'm not gonna tell you what. It's very funny. So
Okay.
can you do me a favor? Do it a really quick version of what is this collecting signature thing?
Oh, you can enact it. Oh, wow. Wow. Excuse me, kind gentlemen.
Yes.
Would you like to sign a petition to get Andrew Yang on the ballot in New York State?
Man, I hate that Yang guy.
Oh, man. But we live in a country where we value democracy and diversity of opinions.
You changed my mind. I'm gonna sign for.
Wait, but
That
first,
was
are you a registered Democrat?
fast.
Yes, I am.
Oh, then perfect. You fit that ideal qualifications to sign this petition.
Awesome.
Complete.
So why is this process is so manually done? Isn't that a kind of outdate with the computer and internet and cell phone and texting? Why you have to go collecting? How many do you need to collect?
So Andrew Yang needs at least 5,000 signatures from New York State. We're aiming more than that. We're aiming 15,000. And for delegates in their district, they need at least 500 signatures to become a delegate. And we're aiming for, again, 3 times that, 15.
So this is Iggy. He's a businessman, and I think he works in tech area. I see him everywhere. And then on his left, that's Fulton. Fulton is a very active young man, Chinese gentleman, and they're both Chinese. He's Chinese too. Fulton is always like a leadership, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I
Yeah,
was
yeah,
so
yeah,
impressed with him. You know, he was
yeah,
meeting us in front of NBC when we were protesting. I
yeah,
remember.
yeah. And I really like also this one. I kind of
We are getting closer to that.
wait, not
We're
this.
not quite there yet.
Oh, never mind.
All right.
That was a live stream.
Oh yeah, that's a live stream. No, I was wait. Where did it go? I think I clicked it.
I'm here because
Yeah.
I'm here because I believe that
I remember
this
him.
man needs to be
It's
our
Grant,
president
right?
Yeah,
for
Grant.
my
Grant.
mental sanity, and for I'm sure hundreds and thousands of Americans across the United States of America. In all honesty, for my mental sanity.
When did you start to get to know him, and how, and like what is the source?
Around January, February, I ran into his policy on democracy dollars, and the fact that he wanted to make my vote count again really resonated with me. The fact that before, technically, I could vote for one candidate or one representative, and then the representative for my state could vote for whoever they felt like, just didn't seem right to me. And I haven't been politically engaged since. So I've never voted, yet I am here at Yang Week rooting for Andrew Yang.
So since you got awesome, yeah,
That is
awesome,
so
and
awesome.
yeah,
Enjoyed meeting him. He's really
yeah,
cool. From Alabama.
yeah, Alabama, right,
That's
and
right.
then this did not cut into the film. It was pretty funny.
Oh. Yes.
Automation is on its way in every major stores, right?
It's already here.
It's like the
Yeah.
robots are coming.
So
There's a store I went to, Home Depot in the Bronx, and it was
Yeah.
all self-checkout.
yeah,
Yeah, they had 2 people make sure the machines work well.
yeah. So
But other
what's
than that,
what is the advantage of this?
well, I mean, it's convenient for the customer, but the thing is, if you have more of this, you have less humans, so that costs cashier jobs,
Yeah.
which is one of the most common jobs in the country. And they are quickly being displaced. They're going to need less and less human cashiers.
Yeah.
There you go.
So,
I mean,
yeah,
case in point, you're just watching
Yeah.
it, and
yeah.
I'm describing it. I feel like a weatherman, you know. And
I'm just
there is a
yeah,
chance of job displacement. There is a chance of
Yeah.
automation. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
99% chance. Yes.
Yeah. I'm always filming, right? And
Oh,
yeah,
yes.
so it was funny because Andrew Yan talk about automation and stuff.
Mhm.
So yeah, you guys, this is a scenes not in my younger diary. It's in the playlist, and you can go through. There's more like your talk here is really good, and Yunjie. And then we often have these group talks. Let's play a little bit.
Yes.
Okay, one of them. There's so many of
Contribute
them.
money, and we spent like a good 45 minutes on the phone just talking about stuff, and I thought that was pretty amazing.
He talked to Andrew Yan.
that they would actually just reach out
Cool.
to what I figured was kind of a random, supporter. And it was right around the time, I think, when the Iowa TV commercials were coming out, and I remember telling him, I was like, quite honestly, I think the commercials are a little disappointing.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, I completely agree with that. But the consultants we've hired say this is what we need to do. So that was a little bit of feedback that I had heard that kind of made me scratch my head a little bit about the campaign. But anyways, I was wondering if you guys, had those kinds of interactions with the campaign after donating and participating.
I did.
So.
Same thing. It was supposed to be Zach, and it kind of got canceled, then rescheduled, canceled, rescheduled, and then finally Carly was the one who ended up calling me.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it would be nice to. I don't know. Personally, I don't have like a fuzzy feelings about Zach. I think it's just because so many times, I've like when after the town hall or after something, or we even went to airport to greet NGN 3:30 a.m. That was February the 4th, because February 3rd he finished Iowa. Then he flew a private jet to to Manchester airport. So we stayed up, right? Yangan stayed with Jack, and we stayed up till 2:30 in the morning or 2 o'clock in the morning, and then 3:30, and Jack started to knock on my door. I don't know if he knocked on the other, but I don't know. But he just got us all up, and then 3:30 we all jumped into his van, and then he drove us to the airport in Manchester. So there we saw Andrew Yan, arrive 4 o'clock in the morning, and then so every time Andrew Yan talks, he's always like this, like paying the butt, Zach. Always like in the back, like it's like he's like really protective, it's like, okay, time to go.
Yeah,
Time to
I have a story about that later.
Well, that's so funny.
I just like, I want to see him more, So anyway, but I can't really blame him though.
When I saw him the last time was at the Keene office on the morning of the New Hampshire primary.
Yeah.
And maybe some of you know Rafael Flores. He's part of the NJ Yang Gang, and he's the one who had the big bobblehead, right? That we'd always go around all the NYC events with. And so he was there with me, and he had the bobblehead, and he was going to get Andrew to sign it.
Yeah.
And so he goes up to Andrew and this is inside the campaign office, and he's like, oh man, I got to put this on. So Andrew puts the bobblehead on.
I know, that was so funny. It got tweeted out.
At the campaign office. It was so awesome.
Oh,
And then
I saw the
Zach
picture.
put it on. So we have pictures with
Yeah,
Zachary
I
and
saw
Andrew
the picture, right?
with
Right.
the bobblehead on.
Yeah.
That was pretty funny.
Well, well, I'm getting a little long. So it's yeah, it's just a lot of memories and mostly good, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I can. There's very little sort of a curve, like a down curve in my film. My Yangandari, maybe one is my I am falling down, and the other probably is Njian did not make it, and then
Mhm.
he suspended, right, his
Right.
campaign.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I would say it was a roller coaster ride, but there were a lot of high points and lots of friendships and lifelong, friendships were forged in the Yang Gang. You know, it,
Yeah.
uh, it really helped me too. It really helped to, lift me out of a depressive state because I was just like so cynical in the
Mm,
beginning before learning about, Andrew Yang and, the political process, right? And just like,
yeah.
ah, uh, but with the policies, democracy dollars,
Mm,
a reformed form of new capitalism, right?
mm,
And and UBI, freedom dividend, putting those policies together, just very, very dynamic. It painted a picture that's more, optimistic
mhm.
about this country and the direction that it could go in. So
Right.
I really enjoyed the possibilities. I started to think harder about what America could be, right?
Mhm, mhm,
So math, I had math on my mind, and I never really thought that would happen because I've never really been good at math.
mm.
Full disclosure, growing up, but going
I'll
into
share something.
statistics and learning about that sort of thing. Oh, the scarf, the iconic scarf, the
It's too
flag
warm.
scarf.
I tried to wear it today. It's too warm inside. But anyway, yeah, I was just like a really I'm gonna, by the way, interview Andrew Yan next week this time, and I'm so thrilled. And I think I'm gonna ask him a lot of questions as like not really political. Like how do you find time to write a book in the middle of campaigning for New York City mayor? You know what I mean? Something like that.
Mm.
Like, what do you eat for breakfast? Like how do you keep your body like functioning when you're running for campaign for 2020 presidential, and then he must have like a 5-6 event every day, right?
Yeah. Well, I
So
know that there's he mentioned like he liked bagels, like New York bagels. And what New Yorker doesn't like bagels, right? And then you have juice, like juice and tea,
uh,
green tea. So that
yeah,
really helps, rev you up and keep you going. So
yeah,
he has
yeah,
he has that down, drinking lots of water, right? Staying
yeah,
hydrated and
right,
all that. That's
right,
how you keep going. He
right,
has that
right,
discipline.
right.
Yes.
So now let's talk about current. How do you feel right now? Very November. It's the election, right?
Hmm.
And general is midterm. How do you say that? Midterm
Midterms, a
general. Yeah,
midterm election. Oh
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
elections all
And
over.
so tell me a little bit what you heard or what you know, because I think you're more knowledgeable than I am.
Well, there are Senate races that are coming up. They're going to be hotly contested, I'm sure, and that's really going to set the tone for 2024 because um, if the Democrats have a certain amount of seats, then there's more that can get done, right? However, if Republicans pick up the seats and gain ground,
Mm,
House seats and Senate seats, then on the road to 2024, it might be a bumpy one. Like,
mm,
and these are like in key battleground states too. Like for instance, there's Pennsylvania, and
mm,
there's a lot of talk, a lot of chatter on Twitter right now
mm,
about the Senate debate, the one Senate debate between John Fetterman, who is the lieutenant governor of
mm,
Pennsylvania, and Dr. Mehmet Oz, who is he's the Republican, and he received the endorsement from Donald Trump.
Mm.
So, and I watched some of it, and it was difficult to watch at times. And the reason for that is, see, John Fetterman several months ago, had a stroke. And what that did was that affected his auditory ability, his ability to hear clearly, and also affected his speech. And so yeah, he had to read on a monitor the questions that were posed to him. And there was a delay between, reading that and the responses, right? And the thing is that during a debate, that can seem like a long time because you have 15 seconds for rebuttals. You may have like 30 seconds to say something, or 60 seconds at the most. So debates are televised debates. They're just very fast paced. And for someone, a candidate who, had a stroke, that is a very difficult atmosphere to be in.
Disadvantage.
Yeah, very much so. Very much so. But he has done really well in the polls up until now. Now it's kind of a dead heat. But then, as we know, polls don't always tell the whole story. But I'm hoping that, John Fetterman can pull it off. I really like the way that he campaigns. Like, his digital presence is there. His wife, Giselle, helps him with that. So they're just really, he's just a really, he says that, he's for, the working class, for working people. And he's, he's very much a people of the people, looks like even like in his dress, he says, oh yeah, I'll wear a suit, if I have to, but he's like, he just wants to be casual. He's a casual kind of guy. So he's very relatable to the people that he wants to serve. Whereas Dr. Mehmet Oz, he's going up there in those very fancy suits, and he has several homes. He recently moved to Pennsylvania, to do this. But I think he's originally from New Jersey, so it's like,
wow.
So he's not really a hometown person.
Yeah. Wow.
But
that's not good.
the way he spoke and the way he seemed, his performance compared to John Fetterman's, it's like night and day. And that's one of the reasons why Dr. Oz wanted this debate, to be able to show that.
I see.
But so we'll see what happens there, because Pennsylvania is a battleground state.
How it's like this is a 1% of person, is running for, right? I mean, Dr. Oz is very wealthy.
Yes, he's definitely one of those
owns gazillions
1%.
Gazillions of property, Anyway, so how, let's talk about a little bit about how my Young Gun Diary, just a little bit, okay? Since the good news, tell us, the Young Gun Diaries, what happened?
It's on Tubi. TUBI. You can watch it on Tubi.
Right.
And it doesn't cost anything to watch it on Tubi. You can download it on your phone, if you have Apple TV, whatever, any streaming device, you can get Tubi and you can watch my Yang Gang Diary. You can watch it. And I noticed some things when I watched it. There's one thing there was the beginning where you were talking about your life, and gave a little bio, and it showed New York City moving like at a very fast pace. I thought that was really cool. And you can hear the music in the background. So it was like really frenetic, and it was like movement. It was really cool. I really liked it.
It went through quite a few transformation, right? You saw the very beginning of the version. The first version is very long, and then gets trimmed, and then added more 10 minutes. The version of we saw it in 2021 January 4th is 80 minutes. And then people say, a couple of young gun told me, said, you need to add something about you, because we don't know who you are, why you're doing that, like Nell is our designer, poster designer, and he's like, how can you, like, I have to feed my kids, how do you have time, or I didn't talk about money issue, I didn't say,
Mhm.
I don't have to make money, or I didn't say anything, but I showed why I got into, right, and how I got.
Right.
So yeah. So anyway, yeah. Let's see. I'm just putting this scroll, and so Andrew Yan, excuse me, finally saw the film last, I would say, November, and yeah, and I gave him a thumbnail USB when he had an event. Let me see. I am a little bit. When he had an event, then I gave him a thumbnail, like, I don't want him to click on Vimeo or anywhere.
Right.
I just like,
Right.
here's
Right.
the movie, can you watch this? I say you will be moved. Oh, I say you will really appreciate. I said
Mhm.
something like that. So he finally gave me a quote. Yeah, give us a quote as a reference.
And it's wonderful. I'm so happy that he finally, got to see it, because it really is like a video scrapbook. I mean, it's you're the diary of the movement. Let's put it
Yeah,
that way. And
yeah,
boots on the ground, going out there. It's doing the dirty work, right? It's doing the
yeah,
work that canvassing isn't sexy. It isn't.
yeah.
You're going door to door. It's very vulnerable. You're
Right,
knocking on the door. You're taking a few steps back, providing some space for whoever's going to answer, however they're feeling, whatever they're thinking, and you
right,
just never know what you're going to get. It's exciting. It is
right,
intimidating at times, especially for someone that's like, oh, this person's a stranger, and what if they yell at me, and what if they tell me to get off their property? I didn't encounter anything like that. So
mhm.
uh,
Eh,
all the people that I spoke to were very open-minded, and at least heard me out. They may not have agreed with everything, but they were at least receptive to hearing me out.
yeah, yeah. I think what inspired me was you and many youngin. Like, I did not understand politics. I did not understand there's such thing called canvas. I did not understand a lot of things, but I'm very curious, person. And so I just followed you guys, and then read Andrew Young's book, The War on Normal People. That really sort of sold me. And do you remember when the pandemic started, right? I had also these material, like 200 hours of footage. I remember one day I was so frustrated. I don't know what to do. Like I don't know where to begin. So I just started to drive. I just drove and drove and drove towards north. Eventually ended up in some kind of hotel. Actually, the town actually was Andrew Yance, Poughkeepsie or somewhere. NGN was born there. No, NGN wasn't born there. NGN had a home there. But anyway, I
Yeah.
stayed in the hotel, remember? And
Yeah.
I actually Zoomed you, either Zoom or StreamYard. And we talked about, and this and that about, so I just remember I spent 2 days there just watching the footage and make notes, because sometimes you need to get away from your space, right? Because
Mhm.
you're in your own home, you get distracted by eating some food, getting something to drink, watch some TV, or I don't know, it's like, vacuum my floor. I have a whole list of things to do in my house, right? So when I
Right.
go to a hotel, there's nobody there, and the most is watch a little bit television, and then I can get some work done. Should we play a little bit our just like a 1 minute 44 second of a trailer?
Sure. Why
Okay.
not? And that was
Okay.
the Hudson Valley, right? Hudson Valley. You went up to the Hudson Valley. Is that
The,
where?
no,
No.
no, the
No.
trailer of 1 minute.
Oh, okay.
When we go to Hudson Valley, it was like it was like a private. Hold on. I'm trying to find
Sure.
my button. Uh, uh, wait. I can't find it now. It's supposed to be sharing, so it's not sharing. But anyway, let me see. Okay, let me cancel it first, and then sharing. Now it's sharing. Okay, so this is a trailer representing. We went through a couple of trailers. Some trailers are 2 minutes, some 2.5 minutes, and this one is somebody. Yeah, it's a standard trailer is about 1 minute to 1 minute and a half, standard. This one is 1 minute 44. Yeah, like under 2 minutes is a good setting. Okay, so here we go.
Told you why he's different and why that's good and why it goes to the question of electability.
I am that candidate. I can build a much broader coalition to beat Donald Trump.
I grew up in Shanghai, China, and I studied violin and viola. I left home at 17, joined Chinese Army Orchestra. In those days, that was one of the best career moves for many musicians.
Show me the money! Show me the money!
UBI is freedom.
Show me what democracy looks like! Not left, not right, but forward!
That's Israel. He's walking to another house.
Get off my fucking property. You have no right being on my fucking property. You Chinese people, go back to fucking China.
You do have to have certain like preparations in your mind.
We want Yang! We want Yang!
I wrote it. Andrew Yang.
This is not the end.
You brought me back from being too far gone.
Yay!
Yay! What a
Yeah, not bad, huh?
wow. No, not bad at all. Oh, it's so
Yeah.
good. It's so
Yeah,
good.
no,
I love taking
that's-
that trip down memory lane. I really do.
Yeah, right.
Right. Every now and again, it's like, yeah, I was there. Sometimes
Yeah.
it's surreal watching, and I was like, I did that. I went
Yeah.
there. I went to
I
Iowa
think-
City.
I think we are all like influence each other. I think I was influenced by you guys, and then reciprocal, and then I also contributed a lot. I think we all kind of in a very like a high gear of sacrifice almost, right? And it's because
Mhm.
you see so many people sacrifice with you. It
Right.
doesn't feel like a work. And I have to say, I was thinking sometimes, like, I don't know if I could do this again.
Wow, once in a lifetime, right? A once in a lifetime
Yeah,
experience.
yeah. It's like also for making the film is because actually pandemic. If there's no pandemic, and you're not gonna feel a sense of lockdown, and you don't have that much time to do a project like this, right? This
Right.
is amazing. 8 months of editing, And
Mhm.
so anyway, enough of my Yangon Diary. So people, you go watch it, okay? You can watch on Vimeo on demand, watch our website, or you can go to Tubi. It's for free. Then you have no excuse not to watch it. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Actually, people actually watching on Tubi, right? If you run, I find out, although it's free, but I'm not sure when you watch it, are there any advertisement? Because I didn't see any advertisement.
Yes, see, Tubi is ad supported.
Did you see it? Did you see it?
Yeah,
Did
there are ads. Yeah, I
Okay.
did watch it. So there are
Is it
ads
long?
in between.
Is it long?
It's not
Is it
that long. It's like one or
Okay.
two ads per
Yeah.
per break, right?
Yeah.
So
And-
that's why
yeah.
it's free, because it's ad supported.
Yeah, but I googled. I said I had no idea. No one is telling me. I mean, Tubi is not having a relationship with me. It's with a distributor, and I checked. They say every hour of running on Tubi, filmmaker gets 60 cents. Big
60
deal.
cents.
Yeah.
Wow.
But I think
Okay.
60 cents is better than YouTube monetizing. YouTube, like you
Okay.
get 1 cent, once.
Really? Wow. I didn't know it
Yeah.
would go that low.
Very little,
It's
very little. Yeah,
very
yeah.
little.
So,
Okay.
so you guys go, watch my when you do dishes, just turn it on, and then I get to make 60 cents. Anyway, so let's talk about. There's so much talk about the past, the present. So
Okay.
now Andrew Yang, like everyone, a lot of people knows. Where's the book? He wrote this forward shortly after he suspended his mayoral campaign, right? Mayoral campaign is
Right.
June. This book was published in August 5th. How can
Right.
someone doing so fast? I'm sure he's already writing it, already finished it, already goes to printer, right? So
Yes.
now, can we talk about? He has basically for forward party. It is difficult to have a third party, right? In American history, there was not a third party successfully established themselves to being to success, right? To succeed to other parties.
Well, there have been third party movements. There's,
Yeah.
The Green Party. There was the Reform Party with Ross Perot.
Yeah.
He bought airtime and he was able to talk about charts. He talked about, data. He talked about all sorts of things. And I remember they were televised. This was in the early 90s. This was the race between, George H.W. Bush was president. Bill Clinton was the Democratic candidate, and Ross Perot was the Reform Party candidate. He didn't win, but he did get his message out there. He was able to do that. He had the means, the money to be able to do that. I think he made his money with. I think it was oil at first. I don't really know too much about his biography though. If you think about it, there were Federalists, anti-Federalists. So there were those who were like, we need a federal government with the with the Constitution, right? And then you have anti-federalists are more like, we need to focus more on states rather than having this a union, right? So you've had factions for a long time. It's been argued though that the Republican Party, I mean, I'm talking about the party of Abraham Lincoln, that was technically a third technically a third party that did have success with him. But I mean, for the most part, it's been this system of Democrats and Republicans, and there's been a great deal of corporate capture of both. So they're serving the same interests when really they should be serving and doing the bidding of the people.
Right.
So I like the fact that the forward party is taking that seriously and saying, hey, we need people who are disillusioned with this system, and we need to be able to come together. So that really resonated with me. As far as the forward party is concerned, the main 6 principles in the beginning that you find in Andrew Yang's book. There's ranked choice voting and open primaries, right?
Hold on one second, dear.
Yep.
Can
Sure.
you comment on Shark Fin's text?
Oh,
comment?
absolutely. Okay. No, thanks, Shark Fin, for the comment. Yeah, I hear you. I agree. John Fetterman's a great guy, very blue collar and very pro union. So for working people, that's so important. And unlike multimillionaire and fake TV doctor Mehmet Oz, yes. No, I completely agree. I don't think Mehmet Oz really has even just like the charisma or the even just the integrity. At least John Fetterman is who he says he is, and he's been there for. People know who he is, and what he's for, what he's about. So I think that that's really going to work in his favor, regardless of what he's been through. His medical issues, his health issues, I should say. I think that he's going to pull it off, and I certainly hope so.
That's great.
So I
That's
agree.
great. So you were talking about. I want to say hello to a couple of people here.
Sure.
Dr. Zhang Bing is here. Zhang Bing, have you met Zhang Bing? I don't think you have met.
No.
Dr. Zhang Bing. Yeah. He's a strong NGN supporter, and he was at the fundraising at the Yale Club. Is it Yale or Princeton? Princeton Club, yeah. And we met,
Okay.
we met at lunchtime, and then we hang out. And then I saw him also he also at the Chinese fundraising party. And also I saw him in this year's Chinese activity, Chinese American, association. But anyway, say hello.
I was
Hi.
in DC, right? Hello.
Yeah, hi, Pinchang. And we have a BTS dance studio. Hello. Great
Hello.
to see you guys, BTS. Yeah. So you were let's also announce one more time. Commercial. Andrew Yang is gonna be on this time next Wednesday.
Yay!
Yeah. So
You
finally
did it. You did it.
yeah, I did it. So ask me how I did. Ask me how I
How
did
did you do that? How did you do that, Ching? How did you get Andrew
Oh my
Yang
God,
to
it's a
agree to be
long
on your
haul.
show next week? I can't wait.
Oh my God, I'm a little nervous. In the morning I wake up, I start thinking, what should I ask him? Like what cereal brand do you like to eat? Anyway, so it's been a long way. When I first started to conversing, of course he doesn't know me. And then eventually, by the time I think he saw me here and there in Iowa, in New Hampshire, and then still we don't have much conversation or any exchange. Finally, when he was running for mayor of New York, I still showed up to shoot and during the pandemic. And then when I went to these event, you can always see these video I posted on my YouTube channel, and then he'll say hi Ching, so I always go take a picture with them. And and then I told him multiple times I made a film, and then I gave him links. I gave his campaign links. I was hoping his mayoral campaign can use the video to boost people's respect for Andrew, but unfortunately, his campaign people said they don't want to mix 2020 presidential thing with the mayoral campaign, which I think it may not be wise. It may not be wise. So anyway, what happened? And then eventually, I just see him more and more and more. So I would sometimes he follows me on Twitter, and I would sometimes say, just send him a really short Twitter. I asked him before, would you like to be on my show? There's no answer. So finally, the film was showing this March, right? In the village, cinema village, and the festival invited him. I invited him, and I actually said, what is your email? We want to email you the invitation. So actually, he gave me his email. This is all Twitter exchange. And then, by the way, I need to thank him. In December last year, he finally gave us a call called A Beautiful Film That Will Make You Believe in People. So anyway, and long story short, and finally, when the movie is about to show, I still didn't hear from him. I was like I had like 3 red wines that morning, like 1 a.m. 1 a.m. on March the 17th, 18th a.m. And I didn't hear from Andrew Yang whether yes or no. So I tweeted. I made a Twitter. I say, I'm about to divorce someone I devoted the last 3 years to. And then I Andrew Yang.
You tagged him on that.
But if I didn't have a drink, the 3 drinks, I probably wouldn't do that. So it's let's blame alcohol, and and then it worked. It worked, meaning he texted me at like a 7:58 in the morning. It's like, oh, I'm so sorry, Ching. I'm in Florida. Taking care of kids. Something like that.
Yeah,
So, anyway,
he's having fun. He's spending time with his boys. So
So
family comes first. Family's important, right? I believe that.
So finally, I think about a month ago, I don't know, it's because I had a drink or not. I just DM'd him again. I said, "Would you like to be on my show?" You know, I said I sent sent him a bunch of things I've done. You know, I have interviewed so many people, right? You and Tom, the nerds, right? I also interviewed the what's this guy? He in Iowa, Idaho. He's really amazing. He does talk show all the time. He was a Trump supporter. Now then he became Andrew Yang. Do you know what I'm talking about? Yeah. Anyway, so many of them. Yeah. Anyway, so I'm so glad. I hope everything will be fine. You know, there will be no last minute change because I know Andrew is very busy. Yeah. So I'm very honored. Yeah, very honored. And believe me, my strategy is that I will not drill him like CNN because I'm not. First of all, I'm not able to. You know, I'm not really a politician. I want to find out what kind of person he is. So I will ask him very human questions. You know.
There you go. I like that.
Or even casual or being a father. How does it feel like? You know, stuff like that. Yeah, not like tell me about Forward Party, you know. All right. So anyway,
he ran on humanity first. He ran on humanity first, right? So I'm sure that you feel right at home. Because that's what this is supposed to be, right? Yeah.
So humanity first is at the very beginning his slogan, right? And then carried after he lost. So humanity first actually is like the overture of Forward, right? Forward. Yeah. So you were talking about there's 6 principles. Can you cover them?
Sure.
I mean, not 6 of them. Cover one of them.
Yeah, one of them.
Tell us what are the 6 things. People say, what's special about about Forward Party?
Well, there's ranked choice voting. So that is another way of voting because you have the system now where it's just you have 1 or 2, you have two candidates. You don't really have much of a choice after the primary. The primary is where the candidate is chosen, basically, right? And then the general election, you have two candidates, right? But for the New York mayoral, ranked choice voting. That was used, and we got to see it in action, and that made for a very, I would say, it's an interesting experiment, right?
Because why is more fair? I am still a little puzzled. Like, is there like a really strong math involved? Like, how complicated this is?
Well, it's actually not complicated because instead of just choosing one candidate to vote for, you can rank who you like or who you want to vote for, 1, 2, 3, and then what happens is there's like I don't know, 2 or 3 rounds, kind of like a runoff, right? So if your candidate doesn't reach a certain percentage,
caucus,
then it's reminiscent of that in a way. Yeah, it doesn't reach a certain percent, right? At least you want to be at least at 50 or over 50 to stay in it, right? So if your number 1 choice doesn't meet that threshold, then they're out, but then you have another choice, so it's kind of like that. Like with pizza, there's toppings, right? So, some people like 1 topping pepperoni, or they like, chicken or whatever, but you can have a combination of toppings on a pizza. So it's kind of like that. So, and then they're open primaries, primaries, right? So that means when they're open, they're not dependent on a party, right? So, how you have a Republican primary and a Democratic primary. If you have an open primary, it doesn't matter which party you belong to or a party, right? You can just focus on the candidate and the policies that you want. So party primaries, they disenfranchise the majority of voters. That's the big problem. Because in 80% of cases, the general election is essentially a foreordained conclusion. Isn't that something? So with ranked choice voting, it's more democratic. With more choice, that means you're going to have the opportunity to hear more voices. And there'll be more candidates that are out to win your vote. So it increases the chances that someone from a new party or a third party would be able to win, have a chance, instead of this two-party system where, you're getting red, you're getting blue, but then what's really changing fundamentally when there's so much money involved in the process, right? So I think these reforms like ranked choice voting and democracy dollars, these vouchers, will help to take the money out of politics. We're talking about, dark money. We're talking about, because with Citizens United, with that decision, you have money is referred to as free speech. So there are corporations and financiers that have so much of it. They never run out of free speech. They have more free speech and they're louder than the rest of us. But if you have democracy dollars, then that will help to level that playing field. That the candidate will be like, I can just run on policies, I can run what's important to me, not on, I would say, a partisan, orthodoxy or be beholden to people that have a lot of money that the public doesn't see, right? So it would make things more fair. So that's why I'm in support of ranked choice voting. And there's fact-based, governance. So there's the messaging and news cycles. There are politicians that are competing for attention. That is the biggest commodity when it comes to elections today. It's getting attention. There's an attention economy, so that's, we see that on social media, all the time. And you read in Andrew's book how many ways that he got attention. Media attention. You have to get it, whether you're doing crowd surfing or whether you're skateboarding or whether you're,
piano. Play
Yes.
the piano.
Play the piano. Right. Exactly. So with, it's important that they should compete on results. It shouldn't be so much focused on personality. It should be focused on, policies and principles. And also, statistics, right? And running on real issues that matter to everyday people. If you're constantly on these wedge issues that just deepen the polarization, you're not really going to get anywhere. You're just going to get the most extreme part of your base, your voting base, to turn out for you.
Right.
It's not going to really help.
By the way, I actually bought this. Actually, this book was given, I think. Yeah. The campaign actually sent this book to me. I guess we're like on the list of being involved with. And I read it. I also listened the audio book. It's just, what can I say? This guy really knows how to tell story. I mean, the way he reads his book is so much more human than he appears on stage. When he appears on stage, it's kind of stiff, kind of politician look like, or pretend sometimes because he's new, right? But you guys should really listen to this, because it's easy when you can do laundry and listen to it.
Oh yeah.
so cooking. But anyway, he talks so many things, other people don't talk about. They talk about being father. He talks about his children, and he talks about education, talks about social media, and talks about a lot of different things, medical system, and it talks about again, a lot of statistic in it. Lot of statistics talk about economy, and talk about AI, of course, but anyway, so continue. Sorry, I interrupt you.
No worries. It's all right.
So what are the rest? Just tell us the rest of the few things.
So there's human-centered capitalism. That's number 3. there's effective and modern government, there's universal basic income, and grace and tolerance. And that's needed more than ever, right? Grace and tolerance, being able to speak with your fellow American, your fellow human being, and be able to respect each other, whether you have differences, and find where there's common ground, right? And then can build on that. And I think that's so important, And then so that
left,
not left,
right,
not right, forward,
forward,
forward.
we said so many times. So it's such a slogan during the campaign, right?
Right. And it's so profound, because you can't go back, you can't stay still. So there's only really one direction to go in, and that's to go forward. It's not about going somewhere again or going back. It's about going forward.
At this minute, it's the first time at this minute I was thinking when we talk about this, like 2019, even 2018, he's had these, slogans, right? Maybe I should ask him, did you think about having a third party even then?
Hey,
you know what I mean?
That's a good question. Yeah, was it in the back of his mind? Was that something that he considered even
because
then?
These slogans now he's still using it and still talk about it. I don't know. I don't think in the middle of the mayoral campaign, all of a sudden he said, "I'm going to have the third party." Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was thinking about this too. There's in recent months, there's been this merger, right? So that's how you're able to have the biggest third party in terms of resources, and for that to happen overnight. It was so cool when it was announced, and I remember, being on that call, about the fact that you have two movements, right, coming together and under the banner of Forward, right? So there's Sam, it's and Ram. So those two came together with under the banner of Forward, and you have the most resources as far as the third party is concerned. So you already have the biggest third party at play right now, and the Forward Party is endorsing candidates. So that's the work is going forward, and there you go, no pun intended. To point out these pro-democracy candidates right now, and then as the movement continues to grow, then it's going to become full-fledged where you'll see it on the ballot. So I'm really looking forward to that. There he goes. I said forward again, but that's it's going to be interesting to see what happens there, and to just build more more support for it. Another thing I wanted to mention, I just wanted to do a shameless plug here. See, I'm on Clubhouse with a cool group, very open-minded group of people. It's called the Futurocracy Club.
Futurocracy.
And
can you type it for me so I put it here?
Yeah.
Futurocracy.
Yes,
type it.
Right now.
Give me the private chat. So I wanted to use this time to thank some people just join us. BTS Dance Studio, Dr. Bing Zhang, Brian Mannix is here. Hi, folks.
Hi, Brian.
Hey, Brian. And keep up the good work. Brian is the crazy one. He rented my Yangon Diary. I think Brian's met me on Clubhouse. I have to say, like, Clubhouse, it's pretty amazing. I met so many wonderful people. So Brian rented it, and then it was so good. And then he went back to bought it. Rent means you can watch it for 48 hours. Bought it, and you can buy it for $10, and then you can download. So
I bought it for sentimental reasons. I had to buy it. I had to support it. I mean, it's a masterpiece. It's not just because I'm in it. I had to buy it. I had to buy it for sentimental reasons too. So it's just I had no choice to support.
Thank you.
Yes.
So Bing Zhang was saying earlier, I missed some of your comment. Dance Studio said, you're such a kind-hearted person. You will do great at Yan interview next week. Thank you so much. And Bing Zhang said, will Tosi join a Yan? Does that mean join for election or join, just join?
Like Ford Party. I mean, I know she left the Democratic Party. She announced that she's divorced. She divorced the party. Uh, and based on what she was saying, I mean, she's saying, you know, she's not into the wokeism, you know, I would say wing side of the Democratic Party. So she just said she can't really be part of that anymore, you know, in good conscience. So I don't really know what direction she's going to go in. I mean, it sounds like to me she's trying to court more people that are on the political right. That's what it sounds like to me. Is she going to go, you know, independent? Don't uh, I don't really know. She can be unpredictable too, you know, with what she's saying and what she stands for, because it has changed over time, you know. She's very young in her in terms of, you know, her political aspirations, you know, and career, you know, that sort of thing. So we'll see. Only time will tell whether she's gonna, you know, try to run again, you know, for president.
Yeah, Brian made a comment. Very nice. Did you see it? Can you see it?
My chest says two. This one right here. Or no, the first one, probably the only double purchaser. That's the one. Oh,
No.
hey folks. Oh, we need to keep the spirit of the Yang Gang alive in the Ford Party. Andrew Yang, exactly. I couldn't agree more, Brian. Absolutely.
Yeah, Brian, a big supporter, and Sean is here, and Shark Fin, and Brian loved what? Oh, grace and tolerance. Yeah, that's great. And Brian it writes really long comments, and he wrote a really long thing at what do you call Vimeo after he watched the movie. It was really nice.
There's a
And then,
review. I read that too.
yeah,
Yes.
and then you wrote one. You wrote a very big one too.
I wrote one
And
as
okay.
well. Yes.
Okay,
There's
so
indeed.
can you read it, please?
Okay. But how do we focus on going forward, #forward, and thinking about building a new party when we might soon need to face violence in the streets after the Don is indicted for violating the Espionage Act? Wow. Yeah, that's the thing. There's just so much that's going on with, you know, there was, you know, January 6th, and you have the, you know, the committee and what's going to happen there, all the legal ramifications and what that's going to do, you know, to the country as far as the division is concerned. Like, is this going to be what, you know, the straw that breaks the camel's back, basically, right? Like, I'm hoping that things stay, you know, even keeled and it doesn't get more extreme. But let's see. Yeah, that's a really good question, Brian. I think going state to state, building coalitions. I mean, that is happening. So if you go to the Ford Party website, you can find, you know, you can basically find, you know, people in your state, and then you can link up with them, and then that's how you build that, you know, coalition and work to further, you know, the ends of Ford Party. Now I know there are different things because of the merger. Like I'm sure that those 6 principles they're still important, but in order to be able to achieve those, there just has to be you know, common ground built first, and there has to be I would say infrastructure for there to be more candidates that are not from the extreme wings. So it's going to take time to, you know, to build that. So I don't know if time is on our side, right? But I'm optimistic that, you know, you gotta start somewhere. You gotta at least try. You gotta at least try
Yeah.
to save democracy. And
Can
Yeah,
you
I think it's
explain?
worth it.
Yeah,
Good.
that's wonderful. We have so many great comments here, but I wanted to ask you, what is fu futuroxy? Well, how do you say that? Fu
Oh, futurocracy. Yeah,
futuroxy.
futurocracy.
Sorry, is that a
Yes,
made up word?
I think it's a combination of. I mean, it's like futurism, like um,
Okay.
thinking about society, economics,
Uh-huh.
um, thinking about solutions to problems and focusing on that, the solution space.
Yeah.
Uh, and
You didn't
it's
tell us when. When?
creating an ideal society. What's that?
What is your club? What time?
Oh, what time? I'm sorry, I didn't mention it. Okay, so it's 1 p.m. Pacific time, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time every
Okay.
Sunday on Clubhouse.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yes.
So what kind of people come on? People come on are or say like likewise the thinker. Are they forwardists? Are they supporting Andrew Yang? What kind of people go on there?
What kind of people go on there? I mean, those that are looking to um, a lot of people who support basic income. I mean, the club certainly does. Every topic that we talk about does come around, and basic income is presented, pointed to as a solution to many problems. It's not the solution to every problem, but it is definitely important to us, and we talk about corporations, how people are power, how we're able to get together and learn new things and help and help this country move in a better direction. Um, so I highly recommend joining the conversation. I'll be there, and as well as those who those who are in Futurocracy were supported Andrew Yang in the presidential campaign. So it's kind of just we wanted to create a group so we can continue to promote those ideas. What we could do to further democracy, to save it. What we can do to tackle poverty, right, and
Mm.
end it. And
Mhm.
basic income is definitely pointed to, in that case, how we can have better health care. We can have just a better life, meet our basic needs, because people need things, right? Everyone
Mhm.
needs things. We
Yeah.
need to eat. We need clean water to drink. We need shelter. So
Mhm.
talking about these basic needs and how to best meet them. That's why it's an excellent group to be a part of and speak with. It's helped me with my presentation and facilitation skills as far as conversations are concerned. And I'm using those skills and honing those skills at work as well. So
Mhm.
I work
Right.
for a leading it's a broadband mobile company, and I work from home. So I've been doing presentations this week and last week, and it's been going very well. So I really love to do that. I love to be able to educate, and I love to be able to impart knowledge and help people think harder about things. So I really enjoy it, and I really appreciate Faye putting in the chat, talking about futurocracy as well. So talking about clean energy and the climate and working to transform communities for the better. So thank you so much for that, Faye, for articulating that further, the mission of
Yeah.
futurocracy and the
Hi,
appeal of it.
Faye. How are you? Hi, Faye. How are you? And earlier I missed the message that let's see where they go. We have a lot of message. BTS Dance Studio. Did you guys see Yan trending for talking about how DNC will clear the field again? CNN hosts go to red face when Yan spoke the truth again. Do you know?
Oh, I
Okay.
didn't see that. Oh, I wish I
Oh,
had
okay.
seen that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to check that out. I've missed out on some things. gonna have to catch up.
I don't know what does it mean by red face. I just remember I called CNN journalist that was really drilling Andrew Yang. It's just like, why you do this, why you do that, why you do this, do you mean this? And so it was like a not very friendly kind of conversation. But I think Andrew answered politely yet quickly, smartly, it's very uncomfortable for me to hear, I'll send you the link. It's on online. So
now that I think about it, I think I might have watched that clip. Did he say, was that the one where he said, well, we're going to find out? We're going to find out if the DNC will clear the field again for Joe Biden? Is that what that means? Like that the party's just going to get behind him and no challengers or anything like that? That's what I'm thinking that might be about. But I'll definitely watch it again just to get clarification on that. But I think that's what he meant. And I think that's why the host's face got red, because like, you're not supposed to say that, Andrew.
Yeah.
I just love the truth telling, right? It's so important to be able to talk about things as they are. And the thing is, also talk about how things, can be. And that's where the solution space comes in. So I did want to mention that. And give that shout out to the Druckster.
Yeah, and Shark Fin replied to Dance Studio. Stop it!
Yes, stop it. The former journalist and CNN isn't perfect, but the vast majority of the time, they are truth tellers. Please explain why Yang keeps appearing on Lying Fox News to plug his book. Well, Andrew Yang, I love the fact that he would go on any show that would have him, whether it was a podcast or whether it was, one of the major, media networks. He'll talk to anyone. And I think that's important, because if you're in your own silo and you're only speaking with people that you know are going to agree with you, then that's an echo chamber. That's not really going to change minds and change hearts. It's important to speak to people who disagree with you and just say, hey, I'm not going to cancel you. I'm not going to not engage with you and pretend that you're not there. You clearly are. So with our fellow Americans, it's important for us to be able to be able to talk about the difficult questions, right? Instead of just closing our ears to each other. And I think that's what Andrew Yang and the Yang Gang was, all about. It's like, don't really care how you voted in the last election. We have problems now, and there are solutions that we need to bring to the forefront here. And that it depends on what we do now. And so there was the urgency of now that I felt being in the Yang Gang. And I mean, actively, knocking on doors, and campaigning. That's what I mean by that. That's the first time I've ever been involved in such a way. And I definitely enjoyed it. I enjoyed every moment of it. And I wouldn't change a thing. I think it was like the finest year for me was 2019. a personal best, in early 2020 because of this movement and being part of it. And I'm still, it goes on, right? The work continues. Like I still have my math cap. So
yeah. I put a lot of maybe that worked. I put a lot of my yen memorabilia on my bookcase, and I took a picture. And then when I asked Andrew Yang, I sent him the picture. I said, look, I still have all these what do you call merch or, clubs.
And lots
picture.
of it too.
Yeah. He sent us, do you remember? I don't know if he sent to you. I'm not sure. He sent me a Christmas card with his family, 4 of them.
Yes.
Like a postcard, right? Yeah.
Yes. That's so good.
I made a short video of that, and then I framed, things. So, and I also, I have a glass of wine, a wine glass, and I put the sticker, Andrew Yang sticker. We have a lot of those stickers, the white, very big sticker. I put a sticker on it, And then one day the glass just broke for whatever reason. I forgot. My family probably broke it. And then I was like heartbroken, you know. So I was like cried and cried. And then my son and my husband was so sweet, and they went their way to bought an identical big fat wine glass and then put the sticker on because I have more stickers. It's so funny. Anyway, you wanna read face comment? I can't see very well without glasses.
Okay, yes, a lot of people who come to check out Futurocracy about Futurocracy, shout out. They are also advocates for change. Some care about climate change, some care about clean energy. A lot of them are working in their communities to make change. So, you know, care about poverty, care about, you know, democracy, um, and unions. You know, building movements of, for, and by the people. Uh, you know, so it's all about building communities, and it's doing it from the, you know, it's trickle up, you know, from the ground up, you know, the grassroots.
Yeah.
That's that's
So
the focus.
do we have any idea, like, are there any statistics around the country, like how many people are following the forward? Do we know?
I don't know offhand the statistics,
Mhm.
um, but I'd be interested to find out. I'm sure I could look it up, and
Mhm.
I'm sure
Yeah.
there's information on that.
Yeah.
You know,
I
on
know
Twitter and
there's
website.
50 states already have chapters. 50 states. So you
All
can
50
go
states
on.
have chapters.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. You can go on his website, just forward party, and then you can
Yeah.
click and find out. It has a map, each state, you
Mhm.
know, how many people signed up. Yeah. But I just never really add up all the numbers, you know. So yeah. Um, yeah, Shark Fan says, Ching, it's all about truth to power. We all have every right to know whether Yen is truly a red
A real
deal
deal,
guy.
a real
Oh,
deal
real
guy,
deal. Sorry, not red.
or just a
Yeah.
Trojan horse for the GOP. You know, I don't think that he's a Trojan horse for the GOP. However, I can understand that people have questions, and whether the forward party is, you know, going to be a, you know, a Trojan horse or an easier way for, you know, the GOP, you know, to win and gain more ground. I don't think that that's the case. However, I can understand the question and then there's anxiety about that. It's like saying, hey, if we're going to save democracy, we got to go with we got to vote blue no matter who. But you know, I think that that's I think that that's too simplistic. not everyone not everyone agrees with that or thinks the same way.
Mm-hmm.
So I think there's more space. There needs to be space for more voices and
Mm-hmm.
independent voices at that. Like I'll just, as an example, in my home state of Connecticut, there's a Congress woman. Her name is Rosa DeLauro. She is going for her 17th term, running for her 17th term
Wow.
in Congress. So that's 32 years.
Mm.
She has a challenger in my district, District 3. Her name is Dr. Amy Chai, and I really like her platform. She's for ranked choice voting, and I just really like her approach. You know, with data. She has worked in addiction medicine, so she understands that too. So she
Mm-hmm.
says we need a doctor in the house, which I think that's
Wow.
so clever.
Yeah. Like
So
Andrew Yang said, he wanted a psychiatrist in White House.
yes,
Remember?
exactly.
Yeah. It's
So
so neat, you know, because
yes,
people can go wacko, you know.
right.
It's like it's so much pressure, right? You need some professional help. Yeah. So
Yeah. So
anyway,
she,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
Dr. Bing Zhang raised a very good argument.
Yeah. Among my Yang Gang friends, it's no secret that I love what Andrew does, but I'm firmly against the forward party idea. My view is that there is a missed opportunity to reform the Democratic Party from within with like-minded young Democrats like Tulsi, Booker, and Andrew. Hmm. The thing is, though, and this is true of both parties, it's a deeply entrenched system. And it's not easy for those with other ideas, like outsiders or those that go against the status quo. We're talking about the establishment party, wing of the Democratic Party. It's not easy to go in there and change things. First, you need the numbers, right? You need enough people that are going to go against that grain and reform the Democratic Party. And it's also important too that you're given a fair chance to do that. We saw what happened in 2016 with Bernie Sanders. He was thrown under the bus basically, because hey, Hillary Clinton was the establishment's choice, and then look at what happened. Backfired, didn't it? So I'm hoping that lessons are learned. And the fact of the matter is, with the establishment parties, it doesn't look like we're going to be able to get to where we really want to be. So I can understand why the Forward Party exists. I know that there's anxiety, about it, but the fact of the matter is, you gotta do something. There has to be in order to change course, you gotta take a chance. So that's what I think the Forward Party is. It's taking a chance in this American experiment to find a new and third way.
Right.
And that will open the door for more, for other parties. Like Andrew says, hey, there shouldn't be 2 parties. We should have 5 or 7. Most, countries in Europe have that, right? So it's like, why not? Why not have more choices? I think choice is more democratic.
Do you think is it a do we have enough time? Or I was wondering, I don't really want to ask Andrew Yang that, but I'll ask you guys. Like, do you see any signs he can be on the ballot of 2024? Or is it too soon? He's looking at 2028? Or is he, the way he's promoting himself, right? The book, and he's, he has this weekly Yen Talks podcast, which I watch a lot, and they're just so amazing. I'm sorry, he doesn't ask me to say that. I really spend time watching his thing, and every time he interviewed different people, could be economist, it could be a scientist, it could be whatever, activist, and he's such a good interviewer, and he knows his shit, Anyway, my first question is, what does it take for someone to be on the ballot, and how long does it take for a third party? Do you know?
Oh, I know that it's a process, and I don't know all the ins and outs, all the parts, all the components of that. But I remember, and to be like, to be a delegate or anything, there's signatures, to get on a ballot. So it's a very tedious process, and it's time consuming. And you need to have enough volunteers that are going to go and do that grunt work, right?
Yeah.
So it's I don't know the details of that.
Yeah. If anyone in the audience knows, let us know.
Yes, if anybody knows, you're my lifeline audience. So
yeah, lifeline. And I actually helped to collect a signature when he was running for New York City mayor. Yeah, and somewhere else did we have to collect signature? Yeah, just the mayor. Yeah, but anyway, so let's see who else. We really appreciate you guys join us and ask all these questions. And Brian, yeah, you heard me. You're in the dream. Wake up, Brian. Yeah, I said like 2 times already. It's called underneath our faces. There's a little thing running. Yeah, next Wednesday, 5 p.m. this same time, I get to have a conversation with Andrew Yang. And yeah, hope you guys join us, and you can ask it. Don't be too nasty, okay? Anyway, my approach, like I said earlier, I wanted to show the human side of him. He has enough people ask him political things, and I will ask him questions like a person. Yeah. So anyway, thank you so much. Before we end, should we do rapid fire?
Let's do rapid fire. Why not?
Yeah.
Yes.
We're like over 6:35 now. Thank you so much. All right, rapid fire is like you already saw me doing that a couple of times. I would just ask some questions. Normally, it's not in the content, right? Oh, before I
Right.
do that, do you have anything else you want to advertisement? Anything else?
No, not really, not at this point.
Okay.
But
Okay.
keep that in mind for next time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have let's see, my advertisement is, if you have not subscribed Juhl Media, please do so. If you like this video, give us a thumb, and also you can click on the bell so every time we do live shows. And this is since pandemic, Nick, this is 100 like 94 or 95 episode.
Episodes.
Yeah,
Wow.
almost 200. Yeah. So almost 200.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Almost reaching
So
that milestone. That's so cool.
yeah. So I've been interviewing people. Now there's a really funny video. I met so many people in my travel. I traveled to 4 countries and 8 cities this summer, and about 5 weeks, and I met so many interesting people. So I will interview a lot of people, like in the middle of like a train. I share a train room with 2 ladies, and then I was like, can I interview? So it's like, but after we talk for a while, okay, I didn't like take my phone immediately interview them. I always like talk to them. So then they become more and more interesting, the conversation, and then so you can see that conversation. I made like was it a 3-minute video this last night. It's on my channel. It got a lot of hit actually within like half day, like 11 hours. So they were sisters. They are sisters. They were the translator for 2 of the books talk about Donald Trump. Yeah. So they're
What are the
professional.
odds?
Yeah.
What are the
they're
odds you
professional.
meet them, right?
Yeah. So I start to ask them, what do you think about, do you get to know Trump really well after you translate 2 books? And they start to tell me how they feel. So I'm not telling you how they feel. You can
watch the video. Yes.
Yeah. And so the other plugin, I have been doing a smartphone video production on Clubhouse. If you don't know what the heck is Clubhouse, you should join. Okay, it's really great. So it's a volunteer. I've been doing for 86 weeks non-stop. That's pretty good, huh? 86
That's really
weeks.
good.
Yeah,
So
non-stop.
consistent.
I know. Every Friday. Yeah, every Friday we do. But I do have a team of people really helpful, including Sharp Fang, a lot of filmmaker, Darren Juhl, and Amanda Marasco, and many people. Yeah. So anyway, so that's if you want to learn how to use smartphone, which I shot my Yangon diary on iPhone 11. So
you called it this sucker. You called it. I shot it with this sucker.
Yeah, I shot it with this sucker. Anyway,
and it had the Yang Y on the phone, so I told Nell, I was like, this looks like this is the Yang phone or the Y phone, Because it had the Yang logo on it. On the
who put it on?
Cool.
It's Nell put it on. Nell, that's his idea.
Yeah.
So he just put it on. On my phone I don't have it. And so we can talk forever about that film, and please watch the film if you can. Now it's free on Tubi. So go on
Tubi, Tubi. Check it out.
Yeah, check it out. Okay, rapid fire. Okay. Ready? Okay.
Ready.
What do you eat for breakfast?
It's scrambled eggs, chicken sausage, and hash browns.
Oh my God! Eat too much.
I love eggs, scrambled eggs. You start with that protein in the morning.
Yeah.
Eat the protein first. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you exercise?
I fell off. on that,
Uh-oh.
so I got to
Uh-oh.
get back into it. Yeah, it's been a
But
while.
you did it, right? You
So
used to go to gym, right?
I used to before the COVID, but I haven't
Pandemic.
gone back
Yeah.
since. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
yep.
I'll take a walk.
I know.
Yeah.
Good question. I'll
Yeah.
give you
Do
honest
you?
answers.
Yeah, good. Do you have a favorite television series
Favorite television series?
right now?
Let's see. I've
Current.
been watching The Serpent Queen on Stars. That's about Catherine de Medici. Very good.
Mm,
Yeah.
I
So I,
don't.
I
I
like
don't
that
have
kind of
stuff.
stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't have stuff. If you have time to learn another language, which language you want to you want to learn?
Okay. I'm not going to say Spanish because I try, you look my last name Rivera, but I was thinking like, Japanese or Chinese, to be completely honest. I'd love to learn an Asian language. I think that'd be really cool. That'd
That's
be fun.
nice. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Yes.
Well, now, do you how do you, I mean, you were so careful during the pandemic, right? And
True.
yeah, and you were really careful. You're not meeting people, and I think the first time I met you since pandemic is this March when
Yep.
we had
That was the first time
yeah,
I was really out and went to New York
yeah,
City since. Yeah.
yeah,
That's right.
yeah. So what does a pandemic what's the silver lining of the
The
pandemic?
silver lining. Very good question. I'm confident because it says like medium risk in this part of the country right now. I saw a map recently. So I know things have calmed down and have been calm for a while, but it's just like in my mind trying to get out of that mindset. I'm being careful because of my grandma and my parents who are in their 60s. So that's the reason why I didn't really see a lot of people. But in the past couple of weeks, I did go to my friend's birthday party, my best friend's birthday party. So I was with people then, and a few weeks prior to that, went to his my best friend's wife's birthday party. So that was the first time I was indoors with people outside of my family since March. So far so good. I decided I'm not going to live in fear because I think that's the worst thing. I'll just do what I can, take one day at a time, not being reckless. I've been a germaphobe all my life, so it's hard. I know
You
that's supposed
oh
to be rapid
really?
fire, and it's not
Germaphobe.
rapid fire.
You're so weird, and you come to the movie, right? The March 18th.
Yeah.
You're the only one who's wearing a mask. It's like I think
This
the
is
whole
true.
theater. No, not the only one, but you're
Yeah.
a few young guy. You would keep wearing mask. Then eventually you took it off. So
When I went to the
we
when I
had
went
a
to the restaurant, I had no
yeah,
choice at the
yeah,
restaurant. Got to
yeah,
eat,
yeah,
and
yeah.
yeah,
So, but anyway, I respect people being very cautious. Yeah. So yeah, but
yeah.
I can tell you the news. I had 2 shots, 2 booster. I never had a COVID,
Wow, look at you.
and I meet so many people. I went to this rally, that rally, meet this, and then parties. Go to Europe for 5 weeks. Yeah, I'm good.
Wow,
I'm good.
I had it, and my whole family
I
had it. It
know.
was March of 2021.
Yeah,
Um,
you must be
yeah.
like really disappointed because you were so careful, right?
We're so
Right?
careful, as careful as we
Yeah,
could be. We
yeah,
couldn't neglect my grandma's health care, so
yeah,
she had to go to, for an eye appointment. And shortly after that, she came down with a runny nose. And then
yeah,
my uncle started, feeling sick. He's a technician,
yeah,
so he had to go to people's houses and that sort of thing. And
yeah,
he took rapid tests. They kept
yeah,
coming out negative,
yeah,
but then when he took the PCR, that was positive, and then that's when it was decided, oh, we all need to get tested, and lo and behold,
right,
we were all positive. I just remember being more tired than I'd ever been. That
yeah,
was I slept a whole day once, which was until 5 p.m. Like I never
mm,
do that, so I knew something
mm,
was up, and I was
yeah,
like, I feel like I have allergy symptoms, but it's too early for
yeah,
pollen. It's still,
right,
it's still winter technically. We're
yeah,
not in spring yet.
yeah,
So that's what it was. But since then, I did get 2, doses of the Pfizer, and then I went and I had tests done. So I had an antibody test done. So I saw what the results looked like in April of 2021 after the infection. So I did test positive for antibodies then, and then after Pfizer, those went up a very high number. And then I actually got a test that's called the T-Detect test. So I was able to see what my T cell response was, and it was abnormally high. So I'm just going to go with what, talk to my doctor and say, hey, I think I want to get another test like that, see where I'm at as far as antibodies are concerned, and maybe even get the T-Detect again and see if it's still abnormally high. Because if it is, then my doctor said, with the numbers that you have, a booster wouldn't help you.
Oh,
so I have not
okay.
received any booster as of yet.
Yeah. Are you still very careful, like not to go to a big event, or are you fine?
I haven't gone to like large events. I mean, I went to
Okay.
parties,
Yeah. Yeah.
but nothing with,
Yeah.
large groups, like hundreds of
Yeah.
people in a room. Like the
Okay.
last time I was in a big room with people, that was February 11th of 2020.
Uh-huh.
It was called the Puritan, right? That's where we were,
Oh yeah.
in Manchester,
Yeah.
New Hampshire, when Andrew Yang announced that he was suspending his campaign. That was the last time
Right.
I was in a room with a big group of people, large.
Yeah, it's already started, right? The pandemic already started, right? In
Oh yeah,
February.
it was
Yeah.
already, yeah, because
No,
my
no, no.
yeah.
No, it's 2020. That's
2020.
2020.
It's but it started in late 2019, and there was already
Oh,
we
okay.
were already aware of it. There was already
I see.
talk of it,
Yeah, yeah, but nobody
Um,
took seriously. Anyway, let's
Yep.
move on.
Yeah, sure.
If you have a luxurious of taking 3 people for dinner, live or dead, who would you invite? Separately, okay?
All right. Oh, that's a fun question. Um, I would say the 35th president of the United States, John F. Kennedy. I'm just like really fascinated by his life, and also just all of the promise that his presidency, held, and changes that he wanted to make. The new frontier sounds wonderful, to be able to have a conversation like that. Who else? Yes, there's Kennedy. There's Abraham Lincoln. Here we go, another president. I think it'd be really cool to sit down,
Yeah.
sit down with him, and I would say Jesus. Yeah, I would say Christ. So like, so Christ, Abraham Lincoln, and John F. Kennedy. I think that would be a wonderful dinner conversation.
Your professor would not be disappointed for this answer. You have a history degree and religious degree, right?
Yes. You're right. You're absolutely right.
Yeah. If you win a lottery of $25 million, how you spend it?
How do I spend it? Well, first I want to take care of my family, make sure that they're all set. That's most important. And I would say my small circle of friends, we can go on some trips, There you go. Yay.
Me.
My small circle of friends, exactly. And go on trips. I've never been to Europe. I know you recently came back from Europe, a European tour. So I'd love to, go there. I'd love to go to Japan. Love to go to, China someday. Just love to explore and travel. I'd love to do that with money and keep it moving and see different parts of the world, and go to like Norway and stuff, just see the sights. I'd love to see Mount Fuji. I mean, it's huge. You see it, in pictures. That doesn't do it justice.
Amsterdam. That's
Go to
where
Amsterdam. Never been. Yes.
Helga is. You know what? Someone made a really funny comment from Facebook, but there's no name. Facebook user. I think this is our Jensen, Dr. Jensen. How embarrassing if you don't have COVID. Of course, I have not either with Jensen.
Oh, I know who that is.
Yeah, Dr. Jason. Yeah, that's funny. That's
Yes.
funny. Anyway, all right. So, what else? How about it's kind of late. Last question.
Yep.
Coffee or tea?
Coffee. I have coffee with cinnamon, no sugar, laying off the sugar. But I love
Well,
tea
that's
too.
great.
but
Yeah,
Coffee.
yeah, that's great. Yeah.
I go.
So it's been great to talk to you. Yeah, we have done this kind of a conversation before, right?
Yes.
After the campaign suspended. But yeah, it's good to see you again. And what can we say? We did it. And although NGN, still have a long way to go, but I think Yangon, the bond between Yangon, hopefully will not diminish, right?
Exactly.
And
It's still
we
strong. It's still
we worked
strong.
hard. Yeah, yeah, we
Yes.
worked hard. Yeah. So thank you guys for coming to listen to us and contribute with your great comments. And this session will be on YouTube Live shortly after we leave. And maybe you can share with someone, or yeah, come back next Wednesday and get to see Andrew Yan, and you get to ask him a question. Okay, so shall we call it and end the broadcast? And on Clubhouse, we usually say 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone.